looking at him with disgust. I'm going to stay away for a while. You stay here and think it over carefully. Think it through. Do you want to be the king of the kingdom of Infero or a guardian knight of slaves? Tell me your answer in 3 days. If you choose the latter, then I will no longer have you as my brother." After saying that, Miri Farah left without looking back. Jerome stood there, stunned, his mind suddenly blank. "Jerome, you are very brave." Andre, who had been silent all along, suddenly spoke up. Jerome turned to look at his archenemy. Andre looked at him and said, "No matter what you choose in the end, you've already done a great job to have this level of awareness. Seeing you like this, I think I finally know what I should do." Andre stood up, carefully put down the small mirror that Mellifera had given him, and walked towards the door. As he passed by Jerome, Jerome inexplicably reached out and grabbed him. "Where are you going?" Jerome couldn't help but ask. Andre smiled calmly. "Go home." Chapter 51 Arguments Among Women. Helen and Lovia didn't go into the villa. They sat at a stone table in the garden outside the villa, watching Luna lying on the ground and having a long jump contest with a grasshopper. Miri Farah left the villa and walked quickly into the distance without even glancing at them. A little while later, Andre also came out and just as decisively ignored them. It sounded like they were arguing inside just now. I wonder what they were arguing about. "I'm so curious," Helen yawned. "If Perseus were here, I could have followed him in and eavesdropped." "Huh, your Perseus just abandoned you without saying a word and ran off to chase after another woman." Lovia's gaze followed Andre's retreating figure until he disappeared behind a large tree. Looking at Helen, he realized that she was staring at him with a mocking gaze. Lovia lowered her eyes and remained silent. "Cousin, are you talking about me or about yourself?" Helen asked softly, resting her chin on her hand. "I advise you to keep your mouth shut," Lovia said coldly. All right, I won't say anything more. Who told you to be the elder sister? As the younger sister, how dare I disobey your wishes?" N.A.N said in a pretentious manner, then burst out laughing. Luna glanced in this direction blankly, then continued catching grasshoppers. "Are you serious about him and me?" Lovia asked expressionlessly. "Who? You mean Perseus? Who else could it be but him? I heard you two have been inseparable lately, even holding hands at the Viscount's birthday party, not wanting to let go for a second. So sweet." Lovia said, half jokingly and half sarcastically. Yes, what you said is all true." Helen nodded emphatically. "Is that your answer? Otherwise what?" Helen asked innocently. Lovia was silent for a moment. "I thought you were up to some kind of trick again. Or maybe you were just planning to play a trick, but then something made you change your mind." "Cousin, I won't stand for that. Am I the kind of opportunistic woman you're making things up for? My mind has never wavered. I swear to God." Seeing Helen's innocent expression, Lovia smiled silently. "People who always make vows are the worst kind of people. But I only make vows occasionally," Helen said, unconcerned. "Why? What's so great about him? How could he attract you like that?" "That's what I wanted to ask you. What's so great about His Highness the Crown Prince? He's treated you like you didn't exist since you were little, yet you're still deeply in love with him. Didn't I tell you to keep quiet?" Lovia frowned. "You were the one who spoke first." Lovia laughed coldly. "Fine, since you brought this up, why don't you think carefully about whether these two people are even remotely comparable?" "What do you mean?" N.A.N was like a cat that had been provoked, instantly entering a state of combat readiness. "Him, Andre." When the name was mentioned, Lovia's expression became somewhat unnatural, but a hint of pride shone through her brows. Tall and handsome, of noble birth, and highly skilled in martial arts, he is respected wherever he goes. He will be the future king of this country, a man as dazzling as the sun. Who wouldn't like him? Isn't it only natural that I like him? I just don't like him," Helen said with a smile. "No matter how well you praise him, no matter how beautifully you describe him, in my eyes he's just a dull, boring blockhead. And what about your Perseus?" Hearing her beloved being so belittled, Lovia frowned and her tone turned cold. "Yes, my Perseus, what happened to him?" Helen asked, accepting the sovereignty with delight. "In what way does he compare to Andre?" Lovia sneered. "To be honest, he's not bad-looking, but can he be compared to the godlike handsome Andre? As for identity, that's laughable. As for talent and ability, all he has is a glib tongue. I'll tear him apart one day and see how he'll still be so arrogant then. Don't even mention his bleak future. His character is just awful. He's full of bad intentions, and he's lecherous." Helen shook her head and smiled calmly. "Unfortunately, None of these things are problems for me. Looks are subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you say he's not as handsome as Andre, I'll be the first to disagree. You're just prejudiced against him and can't see him properly. Take a closer look next time, and you'll see how good-looking he is, especially when he smiles. TSK, TSK, TSK. Just thinking about it makes me. As for status, it's all useless. No matter how noble. Can one be more noble than the emperor no matter how lowly? Can one be lower than a beggar? But if I don't like him, what does it matter if he's the emperor if I like him? What does it matter if he's a beggar? Do you like him only because he's the crown prince? What if he's no longer the crown prince one day? Won't you fall in love with someone else? Lovia snorted coldly, not bothering to argue. Helen continued, smiling. It's hard to say about talent and ability. You just don't know my Perseus and don't know how amazing he really is. But you'll find out someday. I won't spoil it for you, so I don't miss your hilarious jaw-dropping face. You'd better not be joking. Lovia laughed dismissively. Don't you know? I'm the kind of person who dislikes joking the most. Helen's smile was innocent and adorable. Oh, right, Helen said seriously. Cousin, even if you dislike Perseus's mouth, you can't tear it off, otherwise many parts of my body will be lonely. Lovia was stunned for a moment, and then her face contorted with disgust. Disgusting. Hee. It's not disgusting at all. If your crown prince were willing to do that to you, you would be overjoyed. If you say anything more that's disgusting, I'm leaving. Lovia was very resistant to this no matter what. Okay. I won't say it. Helen quickly tried to appease him. As for the last one, I know, Lovia said coldly. Leaving aside his future prospects, he's morally bankrupt, full of bad intentions, just like you. Is that why you like him? Then your criteria for choosing a partner are absolutely terrible. No, that's not true. But there's one more thing you haven't mentioned. He and I are both just as lecherous. Looking at Helen's innocent smile, Lovia frowned so much that her whole face contorted. Cousin, I really advise you not to be so aloof. So-called love is inseparable from desire. If someone isn't even interested in doing those pleasurable things with you, how could they possibly love you? Where did you learn this theory from? Lovia asked expressionlessly. So, do you think what I said makes sense? Utterly boring. But this is truly a simple and unadorned truth. Really? But I'm not interested in knowing. Lovia looked at Helen, feeling somewhat annoyed. Cousin, shouldn't you have this much self-awareness? Helen stared at her up and down quite frankly, licking her lips in a lecherous manner. Your body is perfect in every way. Not just men, even women would be tempted. So, have you noticed something terrifying? What? With your physique and your stunningly beautiful face, if Andre still isn't interested in you, then it seems he truly will never be interested in you in his entire life. Have you said enough? Lovia slammed her hand on the table and stood up, looking down at Helen. Her face was extremely ugly and extremely cold, making her awe-inspiring. Looking at her like this, Helen remained calm. Cousin, I'm saying this in the hope that you'll understand one thing sooner. You really don't need to waste your time on someone who doesn't love you. A woman as outstanding as you has plenty of talented young men willing to submit to you. Why waste your time sighing over a blockhead? I'd love to. Unable to refute her, Lovia resorted to shamelessness. Yes, you were willing before, you are willing now, but what about the future? People's hearts are made of flesh and blood, and they need to be truly cared for. They can't withstand too much damage. When you've worn yourself out and your looks have faded, Andre won't even give you a second glance. By then, it will be too late for you to find true love. According to you, those who value my appearance can't be true love. Lovia sneered. Sigh, didn't I just say that love and desire are inseparable? If you want to be honest about love, you have to be honest about desire, whether it's your own or the other person's. Otherwise, no matter how much you think about it, it won't end well. Is that so? Then I'll prove you wrong. Lovia gave her a final, cold look. You shouldn't meddle in human emotions. Everyone has a devil in their heart, Helen smiled. Cousin, my final advice. You can deceive anyone, but at least be honest with yourself. Without saying a word, Lovia turned and left. On the other side, Luna finally got tired of competing with the grasshopper in the long jump and stomped the grasshopper to pieces. Meanwhile, Perseus finally caught up with Ivisa. Girlfriend skill. Has she also mastered the silent dash technique to such an incredible degree? Who says this slave is arrogant? This slave is absolutely adorable. That's how another problem arises. How should I coax him this time? Chapter 52, Rapid Progress. I apologize to you on behalf of those two people. They didn't mean to be so rude. You should know their intentions, and Why should you apologize on their behalf? I wasn't even angry because of them. Ivisa turned to look at him, her expression cold, her eyes slightly red. So you're angry because of me? Perseus raised an eyebrow. Yes and no, but I don't want to say more. Could you leave me alone for a while? I would be happy to respect your opinion, but the way you look makes me really worried, so I can't. Perseus smiled and took another step closer to her. Why do you want me to stop them? Ivisa asked coldly. Because at that time, both of them had lost their minds, and only you could stop them. Because they like me? Ivisa asked, whether with self-mockery or sarcasm. Or perhaps they love me? Obviously, but I don't like them doing this. The two of them fought over me, as if I were some kind of trophy, something they could get as long as they won. It's so disgusting. I didn't need to know about this at all, but you insisted on taking me there and forcing me to speak in front of so many people. I'm sorry, I didn't think that much about it at the time. I didn't know you were so averse to getting involved. I just didn't want them to hurt each other because that wouldn't be good for either of us, so I panicked a bit. Ivisa stared intently at him, a cold, sharp smile playing on her lips. Perhaps that's true, but can I trust you don't have ulterior motives, you cunning Mr. Perseus? What other purpose do you have? What purpose? Perseus wondered. I don't know, that's why I find it terrifying and disgusting. You've hidden so many things from me, always treating me like a fool. So, this is the real reason you're angry? Perseus asked casually, pressing further. Ivia remained silent. Finally, Perseus gently took her hand. Ivisa did not struggle, but simply stared at him without any emotion. Miss Ivisa, Perseus said softly, do you know what's the hardest thing for people like us? What kind of twisted logic are you going to spout now? Ivisa was uncooperative. How can this be considered fallacy? I believe we are having a heart-to-heart talk, and any seemingly casual remark will have a profound impact. Therefore, I hope we can both take this seriously. Open your heart. Someone like you with a heart. Ivisa sneered. Perseus did not argue, but simply placed her hand against his chest, where a passionate heart undoubtedly beat. Can you feel it? Perseus asked. A sudden chill ran through my chest. Perseus looked down and saw that, centered on Ivisa's palm, a pale white frost was spreading. Not only did he feel a chill that made his heart sink and his blood freeze, but he also felt an incredibly sharp, stinging pain. So this is the trick you use to fool those little girls. Too bad it doesn't work on me. Ivisa said coldly. I'm increasingly suspicious that you've been lying to me from the very beginning. You'd better tell me the truth before I turn you into an ice sculpture. To die at the hands of a beautiful girl like you, isn't that a blessing? Perseus smiled. You think I'm bluffing you, you know better than anyone that I have nothing left to live for in this world except revenge and rescuing my family. But if you're lying to me, I can't do either of those things. Right now, I'm just wasting my time with you and being used as a pawn to achieve your ulterior motives. The frost spread rapidly. You've deceived and used me like this. How could I not dare to die with you? Perseus nodded. If that's truly what I think, then I certainly deserve to die. Although it's a real shame to have you die with me. What else can I do? His lips had begun to turn white, and he was shivering from the cold, yet he still smiled tenderly. To be honest. Ivisa glared at him, her eyes wide and large. Cold tears fell from her eyes. Miss Ivisa, every word I've ever said to you is the truth. I may have indeed hidden some things from you, but I have never lied to you, and I will never tell you a single lie, whether in the past, present, or future. Neither of them spoke, nor did they blink. The frost continued to spread, until everything came to an abrupt end. Pieces of ice fell and melted into billions of ice dust on the ground, gradually warming Perseus's almost frozen body. Ivisa tried to pull her hand away, but Perseus stubbornly refused to let go, keeping it pressed tightly against his chest, although his body was still trembling slightly. What do you mean by that? Ivisa asked coldly. This is very comfortable, Perseus smiled, but I don't like it this way. I'm sorry, but could you please make an exception for me? Consider it a small compensation. You have the nerve to ask for compensation. You scoundrel, you deserve to die 1,000 times over. Really? Perseus laughed. Then you'd have to die 10,000 times over? I can't bear to do that. Stop being so glib, Ivisa said coldly. I can trust you for a while longer, but in return, you'll have to say something. That